We are live. Are we live though?
I don't know.
I don't know. All right.
This is harder than we thought.
We're learning here. Blah, 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 blah. We can't look at two things at once, and we're finding that it's a little difficult. So bear with us just for a second here. Is this it? Oh shit. Oh yeah, we are live. Okay.
All right.
Let me get rid of that. Okay. Now we won't be able to like interact with any of the comments or anything on this first one just because we
don't know what we're doing.
We don't know what the hell we're doing. I guess I could pull it up on my phone if need be for like a next one or something. But hey, I'm Bill.
I'm Vicky.
I'm drinking water out of a Scream cup.
I'm drinking my coffee still from like 2 hours ago.
It takes you a long time to drink coffee.
I had to eat.
All right. So I don't know how many of you guys have been beating the dead horse with all this Scream nonsense that's all over the internet still. Every video I think I click on YouTube is like a Scream ranking, a opening kill ranking, what have you. But in order to put this thing to bed, we figured we'd do our Scream ranking and be done of it for a while. It's also going to like kind of be a bit of a review while we rank them, you know, like say why, sort of. I don't know.
It'll probably be a lot of me bitching, but
yeah. But anyway, I'm Bill.
And I'm Vicky.
So let's get into it. There are 6 movies in total, obviously, and we're going to start at the bottom. If you would like to start us off with your number 6 Scream movie and why.
So my number 6, the bottom tier of my Scream ranking is Scream 3.
All right.
I liked it a lot more before meeting Bill. He swayed my mind and my opinion on it because I just liked it for nostalgia factor. It's probably even then was my least watched one out of the first 3, but I was just so happy to have a new Scream movie when it came out. Youth. But watching it over time with Bill, he opened my eyes to a lot of what's wrong with it, and
sorry.
It's fine. Yeah, it's not my favorite. It's not the one I would reach for at all. Not that it was before.
I will say that before we went to go see Scream 6, we rewatched all of them just to kind of have like a refresher because Scream's notorious for kind of like throwing in like maybe the most random little tidbit. And it's like, if you didn't watch these movies like fucking 2 hours prior, you're like, well, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
But I will say Scream 3 kind of grew on me.
Yeah, I warmed up to it over time. But also the nostalgia factor of seeing.
Okay, but why is it your least favorite? Any particular reason? I'll get into it when I get to it on mine, that's for sure. If you want to wait.
By the time Scream 3 came out, the Scream factor was booming. The fact that Creed was on the soundtrack.
That's my favorite part. What if? I still listen to it all the time on my like walks to and from work.
Yeah, and says what if to me at least twice a day. Still drives me nuts. But Cotton Weary also, I get the progress of the characters and the fact that they seemed very real in that regard. Like he definitely.
What about like the killer reveal being like Roman and stuff like that? Did that have any effect on why you didn't like it? Well, not that you didn't like it, but
yeah, I did not like it. It's just not my favorite. Roman was an interesting turn, and also the first time there was one.
Yeah, the only time there's one killer, which is to me when we rewatched it, I was like, this is actually cool. Like it should almost be only one killer or something.
Yeah,
but I will just add that for me, the Scream movies, any of the sequels after obviously any of the sequels, anything after the first one seems almost like bastardizing the first one in a sense. It's like they've become everything that the first one made fun of. Like the tropes and stuff like that. And I don't know. I will also say that Scream is one of those franchises that kind of hasn't really had like an awful entry. Like they're all watchable. They're all like at least okay. Whereas, there's certain Halloween movies and Nightmare on Elm Street movies where I'm like, this shit is just terrible. With Scream, it's like I find enjoyment in some part of every single one of them. So
I can agree.
So your number 6, Scream 3.
Yeah.
Okay. This is probably gonna ruffle some feathers out there. My number 6 is Scream 5. 5 Cream. The one that came out last year. I used to think Scream 3 was my least favorite, but in rewatching Scream 5, it has grown on me a little bit. But I can't get over the fact that when her and I went to the theater and the credits rolled, how upset I was at how much I just didn't like it the first go around. It relied too heavily on like the stab movies, like the fake movies within Scream. And it's just like, come on, man. Why are people going to kill people like Neve Campbell, Dewey, and Courtney Cox just because they disliked the films within the movie? Like, it has nothing to do with them. It's based on their life, but they weren't involved in any of the production. I don't know. That, and it was just like, there was a meta reference like every 2 fucking seconds. It's like, the girl's name is Samantha Carpenter. The one kid's name is Wes. When he dies, they're having a party. It's for Wes, just like the movie was dedicated to Wes Craven. It was just a lot. And the idea of, what was the girl killer's name? Amber? Was it Amber in that one? The idea that she is this big hulking ghost face, like picking up Dewey when Dewey dies, spoiler alert, and like, it's an honor, and just stabs him through the gut and through the spine, picks him up. Like, there's no way she was capable of doing that.
It's very clear that it wasn't her.
I mean, fan theories will lead you to believe that it
whatever.
was
I'm not
Stu
watching
or
any
something.
more Scream videos. So.
And also like the returning legacy characters, Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox and fucking David Arquette. David Arquette did a pretty good job considering he dies in the movie. But Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox in this movie just feel so rigid and rough around the edges. Like, so bad.
Overacted.
Like, some of the lines they say are just like, fuck me. Like, ugh. And why the fuck is Neve Campbell even coming back? She has 2 kids. Like, I get it. She wants to be there for people Dewey died. But like, bitch, these fucking Ghostface killers have tried to kill you and your family 4 fucking times already. What are you doing? Anyway, it's not a terrible movie by any means. I like Radio Silence. I love Ready or Not. And the movie is okay. It's pretty good. It's grown on me. But for me, in this franchise, it is not my favorite. It's my least favorite. A lot of cringe shit. The fucking Ghost Force Billy Loomis thing telling her to like, let's fucking gut some people and shit. Dude, I'm good. Never want to see that again. Get your de-aged Skeet Ulrich, who is handsome as fuck. Like, in real life now as an older man, like, why'd you de-age him? Just leave him be. All right, that's enough. My number 6 is 5 Scream 5. My rank, what I'd rate it is probably a 6.8 out of 10. So that tells you, like, I don't hate it. It's fine. But in this franchise, my least favorite.
And I forgot to tell you guys, my rating of Scream 3 is 3 out of 5. Still, like, above middle of the road.
All right. Geez, we've been going for 8 minutes already. Sorry for any ranting, but we figured we'd get this over with. So that way, like, we don't have to edit it. You can hear our, like, raw thoughts on this shit rather than it being cut because I curse too much or we lull too often. So if we do fumble on our words and lull,
it's genuine and actually happening.
Yeah, it's hard to talk about these movies, especially staring into a camera, like alone in our room, in our fucking living room. And also, we apologize for any loud noise.
We live on a main
drag, and it's pretty nice out, so there's a lot happening. But anyway, I digress.
Not a weather report.
What is your number 5 on the list?
Scream 5.
Okay. All right.
When I did my ranking, it was... I finalized it after we saw 6, of course, but when I did it, initially was when we finished our rewatch. We went through all of the Scream movies over the span of a couple days before we went to see 6.
Yes.
So I feel like I was a little harsh to 3 because in thinking about it, I would swap it with my number 5, Scream 5. Because I feel warmth towards it being the nostalgic factor of it being brought out in my childhood.
What did you think of, like, I don't know, like the death scenes and like the opening kill? I didn't bring that up. The opening kill is actually kind of all right, but the fact that they talk about who's the killer and stab, like, dude.
Like, I don't care. It's the lack of Wes Craven's fingerprints on Scream 5 are so evident, in my opinion. It's so
I agree.
overly meta, but their focus
agree.
on the stab movies
yeah.
is so obnoxious.
Oh yeah, and fucking goth boy. Kyle
Gallner.
The goth boy from Jennifer's Body.
Yes.
I call him goth boy, so my apologies.
And he says goth boy at least minimum once a day.
So he plays like Stu Macher's cousin in Scream 5. I forgot to bring this up. He's
That's
like his
who he's
cousin. He's
supposed to
related
be?
to Stu.
Oh.
So
I missed that all 8 times.
One thing fuck, I'm sorry. I forgot to bring this up when I'm rating it, but she's talking about it, so I'll talk about it now too. He's supposed to be this badass. He drives like a muscle car, smokes cigarettes at the fucking like pool hall. I couldn't take my eyes off it when we saw it in the theater for the first time. He has like a Hello Kitty tattoo on like his right arm. Like for real, he does. And it's like a Jason Voorhees Hello Kitty tattoo. And
same.
Bruh. It's so brutal. Like, even like the tattoos are meta. Like, get your Hello Kitty Jason tattoo off, goth boy. He could have been a cool character, but they ice him in like 2 fucking seconds to the Red Right Hand song at least, which is cool. But anyway, anything more you wanted to add to Scream 5?
I would have loved for them to elaborate more on Kyle Gallner's character, because I love that he's been getting so much work.
I love goth boy, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, not going to get into why, because that's not what this stream is about. But I just love seeing him popping up so much. I follow him on Twitter. It's been really cool seeing him interact with people. He's a great actor, and he's really trying. And the fact that he's been getting more work in horror films is great. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But he said a lot of what I thought was wrong with part 5 already, so I'm not going to rehash what he's already gone over. He put it perfectly. All I wanted to say was my spiel on Kyle Gallner and the lack of Wes Craven's fingerprint on it. But also, when we first saw Scream 5, I am not big on going to the movies. I don't like crowds.
The crowd sucked for our screening of Scream 5.
Yes, but we also, the only real movie theater option we have anymore in Jersey City is the AMC theater in a mall of all places in New Jersey. It's not pleasant. So he has to drag me every time we go to the movies. Like, I have to be really invested. And I was already not really looking forward to 5 because I was like, we're treading on crazy territory here.
Another thing, I sort of brought it up, but like the reveal that it's like a fan of the Stab movies being mad that they suck now. That kind of is ass.
But honestly, after seeing Scream 5, I felt very similar.
Yeah, I'm like, let's kill these movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had watched like a bunch of people on YouTube already, like talking about how after like Halloween Ends came out, the toxic fandom, and like how it's not believable in Scream 5 that these people would go to such lengths as like killing people in Scream 5, where they're killing people to essentially make a real life scenario, so that way they make the next Stab movie based on that to make a better movie. And after Halloween Ends came out, seeing how toxic everyone was about hating it and just utter disgusting things being said to people who liked it or disliked it from both sides was just, no, it's kind of believable. I still hate the reveal in Scream 5, don't get me wrong, but like I find it a little more believable now after seeing the toxicity online about like the fucking latest Halloween movies. These movies don't get it half as bad as the fucking Halloween fans. They are like, they got pitchforks ready to kill you.
They're a nightmare.
You say one thing about their beloved white face killer and you're fucking strung to the fucking bridge ready to be pelted. But anyway, sorry.
As I was saying, I am not big on movie theaters. I don't like the crowds. I don't like that people just do whatever they want. And now in 2023, it's impossible. You'll end up in an altercation over a cell phone. It's not worth it. But I was afraid walking out. I was like, wow, this movie didn't surprise me at all. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy myself through this. Whereas usually I don't enjoy going. So I'm always really psyched when we walk out of a movie and I'm like, no, I loved that. Or I enjoyed it at least. So I didn't say a word when we were walking out of the theater.
You were like scared to tell me you didn't like it.
I didn't want to tell him because he already knows how I feel about going to the movies as it is. But then you add in the fact that I didn't like it, and I didn't know how he felt about it because he didn't say a word. His silence should have told me everything. But you know that like fulfilling feeling you have walking out of a theater after you see something you really enjoyed. I wasn't getting that vibe from him either. But
Well,
he said it first.
We didn't have it. You know how we like you see a good movie in the theater sometimes, and like all you want to do is talk about it.
Yeah.
Like whether you're on your way home, whether you're driving, we walk or take like the fucking light rail home, and it's just like we'll talk about a movie the whole way home.
The second we walk out of the theater.
Get home and like we'll sit in silence just talking, which is like a beautiful thing when that happens. With Scream 5, it didn't happen. We were just like, wow, like I'm kind of bummed.
It's one of the few times that with a new movie we both completely 100% agreed.
All right,
that we were disappointed.
We got to stop panning this movie because it is okay. I like it. Don't get me wrong. Sounds like we hate this movie. It has grown on me like a fucking tumor, man. Like I don't mind watching it now. I still have my gripes, but it sounds like we're destroying it. I assure you, we don't hate it.
Again, like I said,
it so happens to be at the bottom of our list.
I would probably swap it with 3 now.
Yeah.
I also, before we go to your your number 5,
we also didn't discuss our lists beforehand. Sorry.
No. My rating for it is also 3 out of 5, the same as I rated 3. So again, I would swap those, but it doesn't really matter.
Also, bear in mind she does her letterbox.
So my ratings are out of 5, his are out of 10.
My bullshit's out of 10 because I'm psychotic or something. But anyway, all right, that is it for Scream 5 Cream.
Yeah, no more
hate. We don't hate it though, I promise.
No.
But ironically enough, my number 5, Scream 3. This movie, I hated it growing up. The more and more I watch it, the more I like it. She brought up like the soundtrack of the Creed song "What If." Courtney Cox's bangs are fucking atrocious.
That's a real thing.
Piper Perabo might be one of the most annoying characters in the franchise.
Parker Posey.
Parker Posey?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm so bad with names, even
Don't
actors.
Don't speak that way about Piper Perabo. She's from Sayreville.
She's from
South Amboy.
She's from Jersey. I don't care. Her character's annoying as hell, playing a fictional Gale Weathers. Good thing they didn't cut her bangs like Courtney Cox's. Good Lord.
I, on the other hand, liked Parker Posey as fake Gale Weathers. I thought it was really funny.
But yeah, Scream 3 is like, you know, they're at the movie studio in Hollywood filming Stab 3. I think one of the only, like, I don't know. Like I said, I hated this when I was growing up, but I like the soundtrack now. I'm really nostalgic for that, like, dad butt rock these days. Like, listening to Creed, like, it's so cringe, but sometimes I get, like, kind of pumped when I hear that type of fucking shit, and it's littered all over this soundtrack. Plus, you got Putty as the security guard in this. Jenny McCarthy in her prime. She gets slaughtered.
She was in a horror movie.
Lance Henriksen is in it as like the famous old director.
But not even he can save a movie.
No. Roger Corman makes an appearance. I do like Roman. My main complaint with him as the killer is that it kind of cheapens the killers in the original one. Because it's revealed, spoiler alert, but you've seen all these fucking movies, right?
I hope so by now, or why are you here?
Yeah. But like the reveal is that he set everything in motion because he is Sydney's long lost brother when her mom like went to Hollywood for a couple years, banged a bunch of dudes, got pregnant, and left the baby behind. But he set Billy and Stu to kill Maureen Prescott. Like apparently he's the one who set this all in motion. So it kind of cheapens the original. But I think he was a badass Ghostface. When they start talking about things like he might be superhuman, he you got to cut his head off or blow him up or something to kill him, and like they shoot him with the gun and he gets up and runs away. I remember the first time seeing this being like, holy fuck, it might be like a superhuman Ghostface. Then like obviously he's got the fucking bulletproof vest and stuff on. But yeah, Scream 3, it's not terrible. I enjoy watching it a lot now that I'm older. It's so cheesy that I really enjoy it. Watching Lance Henriksen die like he always does. He's been killed by fucking everybody, a Predator, an Alien, a Terminator, and a Ghostface at this point. But it's fun. It's good fun. A little too humorous for my taste. Like, that's where they lost me when I was younger, is that it's too funny. Like, to me, Scream was always kind of scary. So when this one came out, I was like, oh, it's so fucking funny. Why?
Yeah, like Dewey calling Patrick Warburton the security guard. And he's like, "What's up, Dewdrop?
What up?
I'm in your tin can, Dewdrop."
What up, Dewdrop?
Hysterical. I love it so
Yeah.
much more in my 30s.
But,
I really appreciate it.
I also really like it now because it's shot in the same place that they shot Halloween H2O, which is like, when you're looking in the background, you're like, dude, yeah. Like, that mansion at the end is the same college that they used to film Halloween H2O, which is like kind of cool. Like, as like a horror nerd, gives me like a fan boner. Like, whatever the hell. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, but anyway, this one's just a little too funny for me. Still great. It's my number 5, and I'd give it a 6.9 out of 10. Nice. But yeah, Scream 3. That's my number 5. What is your number 4, my love?
Scream 6.
Hey, well, my number 4 is also Scream 6.
You want me to take the lead on this one?
Yeah, start us off, babe.
So again, we went to AMC in Newport Mall in Jersey City.
Don't reveal where we live.
Too late. ABD.
It
And, you know, we didn't get the Cinemark bucket because whatever. But AMC did have
These little cups.
Yeah, these little cups. Look at all their little hats.
I don't
and it
even
came
like.
with a little hat
I don't even
with an
love
action figure on it.
Yeah, I don't even love this franchise, but stupid kitschy shit like this, it's like I want it. Why
Yeah.
not? Plus, I drink out of it every day now, not because I love the movie or anything.
It's a nice big cup to fill
like,
with water.
Yeah, what am I going to drink out of a plain glass? No, I'm drinking out of one that has a fucking ghost face on it.
But anyway,
Yeah.
we both went in. I went in probably more apprehensive than him because I disliked 5 so much, especially the first time. Like I said, I've warmed up to 5 over time.
Also,
Clearly, but
spoiler alert for this part. If you didn't see Scream 6,
Then
you might
click
want to
out.
cut out, because we'll probably talk about a couple that are like the couple spoilery things. But anyway, go ahead.
I lost my train of thought. with
We
that
went to
spiel.
the same theater.
Yeah, we went to the same theater. Again, I was really apprehensive going in. I was so sick of hearing about Scream at that point. We watch a bunch of YouTube channels. It's all anyone was talking about.
How many motherfuckers kept saying that it was going to be Stu is alive and he's been orchestrating the whole thing?
I told him
I was even fucking believing this shit. I watched so many damn videos about it.
I told him flat out that if Sue is even in this fucking movie, I'm getting up and walking out. I will walk out. I'm not going to Venmo you for my ticket. Like, I'm out. I'm a head out.
It wasn't, by the way. Also, you could go back and watch our little journey to watch Scream 6. But like, why is this your number 4? It's my number 4 too, but I'll get into it after you.
I enjoyed it more than both 3 and 5.
That's your reason?
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I had a genuinely good time watching it.
I thought it was, honestly, the more I think about Scream 6, the more I like it. Where Scream 5 failed is like they kind of didn't let any of the new characters shine. Like,
at all.
Like them bringing Nev, Courtney Cox, and David Arquette back.
Fan service.
Yeah, but it like they steal the show, you know? It's like every focus is on them. It doesn't let you have any feelings towards the new people. Whereas Scream 6, the only returning character was Gail, Courtney Cox, and she's not in it a whole bunch. So it really let the newer people shine, and it kind of like they spent a lot more time on their relationships and like why they are the way they are. But I like it. The New York setting, they didn't really go too heavy on like the New York setting. Like they have like little tidbits that could be New York, like the opening kill. Spoiler alert: Samara Weaving, and she's not even the opening kill. But it was cool that Radio Silence brought her into like, Ready or Not. Like,
yeah.
Obviously we needed her to be in these movies. I wish she was in it more, but then the reveal that they weren't the real killers. They just were copying what Richie was doing in 5. So the real killers come and kill them. And the line the Ghostface says after he kills the fake Ghostface, for lack of a better term, who gives a fuck about movies? Loved it. Like, I fucking was hyped hearing shit like that. It's just so cheesy. And they're watching Friday the 13th. Jason Takes Manhattan on the TV, which is fucking lovely. But the kills are super brutal. There's a scene where there's two Ghostface fucking stabbing the shit out of Chad, which is like, fucking kill this guy already. He has such a punchable face. Damn.
And his name's Chad.
He's getting
Doesn't
stabbed like
help.
47 times by two ghost faces, and they both like collectively after they stab him do like the ghost face knife wipe. Holy fan boner, dude. I was just like, fuck yeah. And the what is it? The shrine room with all the old like pieces
memorabilia.
pieces of clothing and shit from the old movies that, spoiler alert, the reveal is that it's Richie from the fifth one, the killer, his dad, and his brother and sister. So there's 3 Ghostface in fucking Scream 6, which is sick. But it turns out Dermot Mulroney, his dad, bought all this shit for him because he's such a fan of the movies. And like they bring up funny things like there's the TV that landed on Stu's head in the original one, and like Kirby pokes fun at all the fan theories like, well, if you believe it, that's what killed him. And it's like, wink wink. But bringing back Kirby, almost like a little shoehorned in there.
It was fan service.
Like
the fact that they didn't have Neve Campbell back,
they had to get another one. But she was cool.
I love the idea that she went from like a childhood teenage year horror fanatic to
a fucking FBI agent.
Girl.
Yeah.
And I hated that so many people
hated
that fact for it. Like I think it's a great progression because I myself can relate. I'm a young woman who was obsessed with horror movies and forensic science growing up. But I digress.
Yeah, but anyway, like, dude, Scream 6 is pretty good. We are going off on crazy tangents, and that's why I wanted to do this live, because it's like, editing this kind of shit, like, I could make this video, it will take me like 6 hours to edit this shit down, and I'd rather it just be like, hey, we're just talking about these movies and ranking them at the same time. But Scream 6 also, there's a scene where, what's her name, Mindy? The fan?
Chad's sister,
that's her name? Sorry, like I said, I'm terrible with names. Mindy and Kirby have a moment where they're like talking horror sequels and requels that is like so fan servicey, but like fun. They talk about like Psycho 2 and the Candyman remake, and it's cute. And I get people like being like, ugh, too much meta, like the fifth one. I was like that, but with this one, there wasn't that much. So I liked it here. But anyway, Scream 6, I gave Scream 6 a 7.4 out of 10. It's super fun to watch. It's like a lot more enjoyable and fast-paced and fucking violent in comparison to a lot of them. But yeah, Scream 6.
And I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
That is our number 4. All right, and at number 3, what's your number 3?
4.
All right, we're getting a little repetitive here, but our number 4, Scream 4. All right. Why do you like Scream 4? What do you not like about Scream 4?
I didn't see Scream 4 until I met you.
Really?
Yeah, we've been together for almost 10 years now.
Why didn't you see Scream 4?
At that, I have never been a sequel person, as Bill knows. I have always been, I see the originals of everything and then cut it off there, because my attachment to sequels is always very low expectations, and I rarely felt fulfilled by them.
Okay.
So in Scream 4, by the time it came out, I was like, I'm out. I have the first 3. It's fine. And it just wasn't on my radar. And then I met Bill. He was like, no, you got to see it. And I went, okay. And I loved it. I am blown away at how many people don't like Scream 4.
Yeah. A lot of these rankings, people put this at the bottom all the time.
Yeah.
And
blows my mind.
But I listen to them and I like try to understand, like see both sides. Like why didn't they like this movie? And a lot of the complaints I see are that like, it almost like looks like it has like an Instagram filter. It's kind of blown out and like kind of like not as dark as Wes Craven's like other stuff. But like to me that it didn't get to me. With Scream 4, I got like advanced screener tickets to see it when this was coming out. And I was just excited because it was a long time after the original trilogy. And I was like, fucking a new Scream movie? Sign me up. I like the idea that it's like there's a couple kids like live streaming their high school experience, and like they have a horror movie club. Like that to me is where people might dislike that kind of thing. I can relate to that kind of stuff because if I was in high school and there was like a horror movie club to go watch these movies and like get drunk and just have a good time with a bunch of people and shoot the shit about horror movies, like
summer school.
Yeah, I'd be all over it. So like I loved this. And Kirby in part 4, she's the hot girl. She's hot. Like, forgive my lack of terminology, like, but she's just like a hottie who loves horror movies. At the end, she starts spitting like terms like giallo and Suspiria and says Gunnar Hansen's name, and like the Ghostface killer like over the phone asks her like name the remake, and she just starts rifling off all the remakes. It's just funny and good. I get like not liking the reveal that it's Sydney's cousin, Emma Roberts, which what the hell was her name in that movie?
I don't remember.
I don't even remember because
I'm not going to embarrassingly pull up IMDb on my phone during a live stream.
Well, I wouldn't care. Surprise, bitch.
That's all we both think of every time we see her.
It's Emma Roberts. But her like wanting to be famous or have Nev Campbell's, Sydney Prescott's
She's tired of
fame.
her having the, I don't remember words. She's tired of her, the spotlight. That's the word.
But it's just like, I don't know. I like that Dewey and Gail are married and living back in Woodsboro, and Dewey's now the sheriff, and it's just like it's a culmination of the first 3 films realized. It's like having them married, you're like, you've always wanted it, and now they're married. The kills are kind of whatever. That's another thing with Scream 6. Not enough people died. Sorry. But Scream 4, watching Emma Roberts kick the shit out of herself at the end to make it seem like she wasn't the killer and was surviving the attack is hilarious. Her throwing herself into the glass table and shit. And the Culkin brother as the other killer, I thought was a cool reveal. Just because he'd be me. I'm the horror nerd, and like I'm the first suspect. The fact that he had to kill Kirby after she reveals that she like kind of likes him is brutal.
But he didn't kill her.
He did though. He's the one who stabs her, and he's like,
"Oh, right."
Somehow she's not dead, and in 6, whatever. But yeah, Scream 4 is pretty good. Aside from the opening. The opening
I
goes
agree
on
with everyone.
for
It's
fucking
very
ever.
repetitive.
There's like 3 opening kills, and it's yes, it's supposed to be like the surprise. These are the openings of the other stab movies, which is like, haha, very funny the first time. No, we're gonna show it to you twice with fucking
Anna Paquin.
Anna Paquin is one of them, and you don't, and then like
Shanae Grimes.
Yeah, and then you finally get to the opening kill, and you don't know whether to believe it's actually the opening kill or the intro to another fucking stab movie. But anyway, I digress. I do really like Scream 4. I understand why people don't like it, but for me, it hits. I really like it. It's fun. Probably the worst soundtrack though.
I don't even remember it, so I guess it's saying all.
You were bopping to the sounds when the sounds came on.
But again, it's also one I've seen other than 6 now because it's still brand new. It's probably the one I've seen the least at this point.
Yeah.
I can count on one hand how many times
we don't rewatch it a lot.
No.
But I still like it. And that's obviously why it's our number. Well, my number 3, her number 3.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 7.7 out of 10.
I give it a 4 out of 5.
Nice. Mary Shelton, that's her name. Marianne Shelton. Who makes the fucking lemon squares.
Oh,
she's from Planet Terror and
Valentine. Marley Shelton.
Marley Shelton, whatever. She's funny in that. Anthony Anderson, another. Was it Zach Braff? Who's the other guy? No, it was Anthony Anderson and the other
Adam Brody.
Adam Brody playing like the goofy cops. That part, you could save it.
I thought that we would get more from them, being that they were and they weren't. No,
even their death scene was like them talking after they got like a knife to the skull. Like, dude, no. But Ghostface says some gnarly stuff in that one. I remember like there's a scene when he's first talking to Sydney after they discover the girl across the street had been killed. And he's like, I forget what he says, but something about like cutting her eyelids open so she could like watch herself be gutted. I don't know. I forget exactly what it is, but I remember thinking when it first came out, like, this is kind of gnarly. All right. God, we were rambling. So thanks for sticking with us if you are. What is your number 2?
2.
Scream 2. Where are we at? Boom. Scream 2. It's an obvious choice for number 2, honestly.
And it's Bill's.
Yes. It is my number 2 as well. I mean, the first 2, come on. Putting anything other than the first 2 in the top 2 would be doing yourself a disservice, and it'd be a lie. Come on. But why do you like number 2 as your second favorite?
I feel like by then I already had such a good feeling from the original that the sequel was so natural.
And this is coming from someone who doesn't like sequels. You were excited to see it, though?
Again, it's different in the fact that it was of my generation, like wholly. It wasn't like seeing old franchises from the 80s before I was born and having to watch all of them back. I got to, and I didn't even see any of them in theaters. Again, I've just never liked going to the movies. But
I've seen them all in theaters at this point, which is, I want to keep it up.
They all came out at least when we still had video rental stores. We still had the Hollywood videos,
True.
The Blockbusters. So that's how I saw a lot of the movies back then.
Still all my original tapes.
But 2 was such a natural progression in terms of them aging into college and things like that. And I found that so enjoyable. I really liked a lot of the new characters.
A good progression of the characters, like a natural progression. Yeah. Like it wasn't like they just moved away like in Scream 6. They all moved to the city to go to college. It's like y'all moved across the country to go to college
all together. Of you together.
Little unbelievable. But Scream 2, like them like kind of being sort of close by. I like Scream 2 for the same reasons. Obviously, including Sarah Michelle Gellar was like a nice touch. It was just like of the time period. It's like you had to have some of these it people in your movies, and she's a perfect choice. Like Buffy, she's in I Know What You Did Last Summer. It was like, getting perfectly her was a good get.
Yeah,
Jerry O'Connell, the fat kid from fucking Stand By Me. One of the things I don't like about Scream 2 is
I was waiting for it.
There's a scene where Jerry O'Connell like breaks into song and like starts singing in the cafeteria to Neve Campbell, and it's just like, I cringe and like I can't even watch it. It's so fucking brutally secondhand embarrassment, even from a fictional movie. Like, dude, come on. Listen, I love my wife, but you won't catch me like jumping on fucking tables and singing a song to her in front of a whole fucking cafeteria of people. But the opening kill, probably I can't say it's the best, but great opening kill. Jada Pinkett Smith and Mekhi Phifer. Is that who it is?
Omar Epps.
Omar Epps. Duh. But like in the theater watching Stab and like getting killed with all those people going
and
nuts.
One knows if it's real
reacting
or not.
Like, dude, that is amazing and hits so hard.
One thing I have to add, and you said it when we were gonna watch Scream 2. He had just gotten the 4Ks of Scream and Scream 2, so our rewatch started on that. Scary movie just runs this brain about the beginning of Scream 2.
Yeah, like, Scary Movie kind of ruins Scream 2's opening a tiny bit because it's like instead of like Omar Epps getting stabbed in the cheek through the stall, like in Scary Movie, it's a cock going through his ear. Dude, I remember sitting in the movie theater with my nan, my grandma, and I was a young kid watching Scary Movie, and I'm like, oh geez, like there's a penis.
Jeepers.
Like, you know how it is. But like, sorry, Nan, sorry I made you drag me to this movie. But anyway, the reveal in Scream 2 is great. The fact that it's Mickey, the geeky film kid.
I love Mickey.
I loved Mickey. He's like a true psycho.
Yeah.
One thing just talking about these makes me realize is like they do go with like the film nerd a couple times here. Like obviously Scream 4 and Scream 2. Surprisingly, like the thing where Scream 2 loses me is Billy's mom is the other killer, which is cool. Don't get me wrong.
It's fine.
But we'll get to Scream 1, obviously. Shocker what our number 1 of the Scream franchise ranking is going to be. But in Scream 1, Billy talks about how his mom ran away and like gave up after finding out his dad cheated on her. And it's like now all of a sudden she gives a shit and wants to kill all these people. Little unbelievable, but the fact that it's what the hell is the actress's name?
It's the sister from Roseanne.
Yeah, I forget
can't
her
remember
name.
her name.
I forget
it's
her
not
name.
Important.
Terrible with names, but she plays a good psycho in Scream 2. There's that scene where they're in the film class and they're talking about by far sequels are inferior films, and like they start talking about like
It's one of my favorite scenes of the entire
Terminator
movie.
2 and Aliens. And it's just like, you just have a hard on for Cameron. And, oh, it's fucking amazing. And Randy famously misquotes the end. Get away from her, you bitch.
I believe it's stay away from her, you bitch.
It's like, no.
This is film class, right?
Randy, you fucking nerd. You got the quote wrong. Yeah. But they left it in there because it's great. And it's like, that's exactly what film class is like. I can assure you, especially film like studies classes. When I was in college, I loved them because it's like, that's what it kind of felt like sometimes. But yeah, Randy dying was kind of a bummer because he was kind of like, that's our guy. But like, dude, you got to kill off some of the main characters. You have to.
Yeah.
But like Dewey getting stabbed against the glass, so gnarly, like watching the soundproof glass while Gail's watching and blood spurting out. It's like, how many times can this motherfucker get stabbed and live? He finally did get it in Scream 5. Spoiler alert. But like, he gets his ass kicked throughout this series, and it's like, oh, in Scream 2, I'm surprised he lived. But anyway, that's our number 2. We're just going on forever at this point, because at this point, Scream 2 and Scream 1 they're great to me. Like, I think they're great movies. I think Scream 2 is one of the best sequels ever. And I like a lot of movies. But Scream 2 did it well, aside from that little fucking singing fiasco. But I'd give it an 8.2 out of 10.
And like 4, I gave 2 4 out of 5.
Nice. And big shocker, our number 1, come on, as if it wouldn't be anything but the motherfucking original, Wes Craven's classic Scream, which, come on, of course this is going to be our number 1. I remember going to see this with my dad. I don't have like a great relationship with my dad, but like me and him would always go to movies together a lot for some reason. I think he knew I loved movies, so it was just like a way for him to get me out and, you know, me be willing to like go hang out. I remember him falling asleep through the whole movie. I was like 10, but I walked out of there. I couldn't believe how amazing it was, because all movies in the 90s up until then were kind of like cheesy and schlocky, and this one was like serious and poked fun at all these movies I grew up watching. I mean, like, it's been talked about to death. Like, I'm beating a dead horse here, but like, this movie is incredible. Exorcist was on. It had me thinking of you. Like, Pig's Blood, like, or corn syrup, same stuff they use for blood in fucking in Carrie. Like, Norman Bates, Psycho. Like, if they watched Prom Night, they'd save time. Like, I love this shit. I fucking love this shit. Did you hear he left the liver in the mailbox? And I heard they left the liver in the mailbox. Liver alone, man.
Should have worn my liver alone shirt.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm rambling here, but just lots of reasons to love this movie. I mean, I remember the advertising famously was just like, Drew Barrymore, lead role, and you're like, holy shit. And then she dies in the first 5 fucking minutes.
Which you don't expect to happen in horror movies based on past horror movies.
Yeah.
It's, if you're of our generation, it's what gave you hope for the future of horror. And then it spurred such a large amount of movies to come out right after. Whereas I grew up watching early 90s, late 80s horror movies.
Hold down the fort.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I grew up watching those, but it gave me hope. Like, I have my own thing now. Like, I grew up loving and being terrified of Candyman, Silence of the Lambs, things like that. This is our own. Like, this is it. Hence me loving 2 and 3. Granted, I loved 3 more as a youngin'. Oh, I didn't know what he was doing.
Just random little tidbits. But yeah, like Drew Barrymore. Drew Barrymore. It was Drew Barrymore. She dies right in the beginning. Oh my god, poor Steve.
We just watched the new South Park, so he's gonna be talking that for a while.
South Park still is really cool too. Talk about nostalgia, just like Scream. But like the questions the killer would ask over the phone. Roger Jackson is like, dude, like you could say what you want about the movies. You could not really like them or be into any of the sequels. And you know what? I totally understand you not liking the sequels and this getting a little astray from the original, but like Roger Jackson's voice as Ghostface is just like, it's incredible. Like we were just talking about it before we even went live. Like, man, like he really is like this like heart and soul of the series. Like screw Nev Campbell, Courtney Cox, David Arquette. Like his voice is amazing. Him asking Drew Barrymore in that opening scene, like, who is the killer in Halloween? She's like, Michael Myers. Like, dude, as a horror nerd, the first time you see that, you're like, oh my God.
No, I'm live correcting you. Who's the killer in Friday the 13th? And she says, Jason.
She answers Halloween first, though. He asked her that first as like a test question.
Oh, kills babysitters.
Yeah. Like, Michael Myers.
No, but Friday the 13th. Who's the killer in Friday the 13th? She goes, Jason Voorhees.
And
he's like,
60 fucking times.
Well, then you would know.
Jason doesn't arrive till the sequel. It was his mother. And like the voice, oh my God. And just Billy Loomis, Skeet Ulrich, like, and Stu Macher as the killer. It doesn't get better than that. Like the quotes that they have together. Just like, it's like a timepiece, man. Like it still feels like 1996 every time you watch it. Like the clothes, like Tatum, Rose McGowan as Tatum is incredible. It's like, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
What is this? I spit on your garage.
Like, oh my God. It's just so good. They're watching Halloween and he explains the rules to surviving a horror movie. And it's like, damn, like they did all this in this one movie. Like Wes Craven, like crushed it.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, what else can be said about Scream? It's like, the kills are good. The performances are great. Like fucking Stu's line at the end. Like,
you really called the police?
My mom and dad are going to be so mad at me. Like, of course we had to meet fucking Matthew Lillard and have him sign this. Like, dude, it's an iconic film.
Me and my sister used to say that to each other almost every weekend for a while. So naturally, that's what we had to get signed.
Yeah. Great music, by the way. Like, that's one thing. Another thing Scream has done well. The soundtracks have all been really good. The scores have all been amazing. Like, what was it? I think it's Marco or Mario. Is it Marco? Beltrami, whatever. Sorry, I'm bad with names. But great score. You've got Nick Cave in the Bad Seeds, Red Right Hand, which appears throughout the series. You got that Hans Zimmer Brothers song that was from Broken Arrow. That's like essentially Dewey's theme at this point. That is just like every time you hear it, you're kind of like, oh. Bird Brain, say a prayer for the youth of America. It's like every time.
And of course, Alice Cooper's School's Out.
Yeah, it's like every time you hear these movies or hear these songs, it's like I immediately am like, damn, Scream, nice. But yeah, Scream number one. As far as the ranking, like what else would it be? Of course it's number one. It's also like far and away the highest rating I give to any of these movies. I give it a 9.4 out of 10. To me, like it so obviously changed horror for the better when this came out. It was just a breath of fresh air. It was making fun of all the silly shit that's come before it. It can't be said enough that it really did change horror. And like you had a slew of copycat movies after, you know, yet I Know What You Did Last Summer, Urban Legend, Valentine, like so many, Cherry Falls, so many movies that were just like blatant ripoffs of Scream. And like just that's a testament to how good it is, you know, or how good it was. It still is. But yeah, 9.4 out of 10. I don't rate things over 9, but for me, the original Scream is like, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, mainly because it's like my generation's Halloween, you know? It's like my generation's Friday the 13th. Like I hold it close to my heart. I'm like, this is what I want from my horror movies, and they did a great job. Still chasing that dragon with all the sequels that are at this point like bro, you've become the movies you make fun of in the
Yeah.
original at this point. But I love it. I love the characters. Randy, like I'm Randy. Like I can go on forever. Any other things you have to say about it?
I gave it a clear-cut 5 out of 5.
Okay.
I rate most originals a perfect score because
Yeah.
the sequels that everyone loves and argues about time after time, day after day, you wouldn't have them without the originals. And you have that initial storyline. Everything is so clean and new.
Yeah, with Scream, it's definitely that case, you know. Yeah, like there's not many other franchises where I don't know where I'm getting at here. I mean, it's one of the I don't know where I'm
You're
going.
having my epilepsy brain.
I'm having like a weird brain moment
where you forget words in a sentence.
But growing up, I preferred a lot of sequels over originals. But like when it comes to Scream, it was always Scream 1 was the best to me. But like with like things like Friday the 13th, like I prefer the sequels. With even Nightmare on Elm Street, I think I like Dream Warriors the best. Halloween, no, I like Halloween 1 the best. Who am I kidding? But anyway, I'm just rambling at this point. Sorry for my derp. I haven't stood in front of a camera like this in this long in my entire life. So I'm kind of like sweating and nervous. But anyway, anything else you would like to add to our Scream ranking?
No, I want you to show that autograph,
Oh, yeah.
though.
Derp. Yeah. So obviously we met Matthew Lillard. Cool dude.
I have fun stories for both of these.
Great guy.
By the way.
We met Skeet Ulrich and Nev Campbell.
Nev Campbell at her very first convention appearance ever.
Yeah.
So it was super awkward. You could tell she was nervous.
Yeah.
We also met her on a Sunday, because that's usually the day we would go.
Yeah, probably.
So she dealt with a couple days already of probable oddballs.
Yeah, weirdos. We're all weirdos. Huh?
But also, well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, in terms of like Danielle Harris being because
skittish
she's also had
people,
stalker people. So I'm sure Nev Campbell had plenty of that too. Our apartment was really pushed home that it has great sunlight. And it does, because we used to have all of our 8x10 autographs hanging on the wall in frames.
A lot of them got burned out.
Nev Campbell's signature is all but gone. Skeet Ulrich survived.
Yeah.
But he also
was here.
It was
you can make it out in person, which is really funny. It's like I'm not gonna go meet fucking Nev Campbell.
We didn't get photos of either of them because they were too expensive, even just for the autograph. And then they didn't have like a promo
Nowadays
deal.
They're probably like
no, we'll never get near them again. But it's fine. Skeet Ulrich had just had what looked like a chemical peel. His face was all red and he was wearing a hat. We have photos of both of them signing it.
They still de-aged him in Scream 5,
yeah, it's
though,
fine.
Despite his efforts to look young.
He still would have looked great even if he left his face alone, but that's none of my business. Meeting Matthew Lillard, we met him at Monster Mania sometime during that same era. And again, it was before Scream 5 ever even came about.
Twinkle in anyone's eye.
Yeah. So we took my sister with us. This guy approached us and, hey, me and my family are leaving early. We still have this one VIP skip the line pass. If you guys are up for it,
to meet Matthew
skip
Lillard.
the line. And then within a couple years after that, Monster Mania got rid of the option of getting someone else's skip the line pass. Now it has to be yours in your name, and you should have to be able to prove it. I am still so psyched because that line was so long even then, and he was awesome.
Yeah, he was a really nice guy. He gave us like a free like SLC Punk print and stuff.
Yeah,
which
for
like
no
we both
reason.
really like SLC Punk. It's like, I don't know.
We were already buying multiple autographs from him. He's one of my
just
faves.
a sweetheart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
like
so
great.
Just to go along with all the internet sleuths that think like Stu is still alive from getting the TV smashed on his head and getting stabbed fucking 10 times by Billy. I wouldn't mind if he comes back, if I'm being honest with you. I just because I love Matthew Lillard. That's the point of it. That's all. But anyway, if you like this video, like it, click the bell, whatever the hell people say, comment.
Comment, subscribe.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Tell us your ranking.
Yeah, let us know your ranking. How was our ranking? Probably like way off from a lot of other people's. But anyway, my ranking, starting from number 1, Scream. Number 2, Scream 2. Number 3, Scream 4. Number 4, Scream 6. Number 5, Scream 3. And my number 6, Five Cream.
Almost the same, except swap 3 and 5.
There you go.
And again, like I said at the beginning of this, I'd probably swap those two now. But my ranking is officially listed on my letterbox.
There you go.
My
You can follow her
username is
Letterboxd.
Moldy Han, like Goldie Hawn, but mold.
You could find all our like internet links in like our descriptions and stuff, I think. But regardless, you could find us. We're not like private or anything. We post reviews, and you can check out some of our bullshit on our Instagrams, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the hell. But anyway, this was our first live stream. Sorry for the delay and like the shitty camera. We have to use it off my laptop instead of like a camera this time.
I think it looks fine.
It looks okay. But yeah, if you liked this, if our ranking sucked, if you hated this, let us know. We don't care. We're just doing this for fun. We're not monetized or anything like that. We like to talk movies and enjoy engaging with other people who do as well. Like we don't have a lot of friends that like horror movies. Like a lot of our friends like horror movies, but they're not about to just be like blah 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 like we want to be about them. But anyway, sorry for beating a dead horse with the Scream movies, but we wanted to rank them, give our thoughts on them, and get it over with, because Scream 6 is over. The next year there'll probably be a fucking Scream 7. But this is our ranking now. We won't make another ranking probably next year when Scream 7 comes out, or we'll just make a post about it. Hey, look, this is where it goes. But we love you guys. Thanks for watching, even if you're watching it on a replay. Stay cool. I don't know. Hope you're having a great Sunday. See you guys later. Sorry for annoying you. Mwah. Oh, God. And? Yeah. See, we're new to this. Love you guys. Have a great Sunday. Hope you liked our ranking of the Scream movies. See you next time.
Don't kiss.